All right. Hi, everyone. I hope you are all doing great today. Welcome to our Miami Regional Student Panel. My name is Natalie Carlin. I am a senior admission counselor at Miami Regionals. Today, the whole point of what we are doing is for you guys to answer or ask any questions and have our current students answer any questions you might have about what student life is like, what fun things there are to do on campus, what the transition from high school to college was like. Anything there might be, feel free to ask away. I will get started by having each of our students introduce themselves, so that way you guys can know who we have joining us and four of our current students um, that are joining us today. So I will go ahead and have, thank you, Erin. The way that this is going to work is that we are doing a WebEx and then we are also Facebook Live. Thank you, everyone, for muting yourself so I can be not hear myself as much as I was just before. But if you guys have any questions, if you're joining us through WebEx, you should see a chat box on your screen. So feel free to chat any questions you have in there, and we will see the questions that you have. If you're joining us through Facebook Live, definitely feel free to chat your questions into the comments there. And we have one of our other senior admission counselors, Emily, who is monitoring that for us, so we see your questions there as well. So like I said, any questions you might have, that's what we're here for today, is answer all of those for you. But to go ahead and get started, I will have our student ambassadors introduce themselves. So I will have Erin start. If you guys want to say your name, what your major is, what high school you went to, and then also what year you are in school, and then any other fun things that you're involved in, any campus jobs, other clubs, groups, whatever it might be. So Erin, if you want to be the lucky one to go ahead and get us started.
Hey guys, my name is Aaron Cook. I am currently a junior, about to be a senior here at Miami. I'm majoring in information technology. I'm also minoring in commerce. I went to Hamilton High School, graduated back in 2018. Um, I'm a student ambassador here along with all these wonderful people. And then I also am in a little Bible study group called Crew, meets once a week on the Hamilton campus at Miami. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Thanks, Erin. Aman, why don't you go next and introduce yourself?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Amon. I'm a senior here at Miami Regionals, a communication major, the treasurer for student ambassadors. I'm also captain of the basketball team. Um, and I think that's it. Well, and I also write for the student blog as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Aman. Barb, if you want to introduce yourself next.
Hi everyone, my name is Barbara. I'm a computer engineering major, a freshman, and I am also a student orientation leader, and I also play volleyball.
Perfect. Thanks, Barb. Ellie, last but not least.
Well, so special. I'm so glad to be on this group chat with everybody and all these wonderful students. Um, Girls, I'm a freshman at Miami. I mainly take classes at Miami Middletown, but I've been going to Hamilton a lot. My major is social work, and I'm minoring in religion. I'm also in the Crew Bible study with Aaron, and I'm a Harriers cheerleader at Hamilton. So, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you all. Special shout out to the four of you for all being awesome students and joining us today on the student panel. It doesn't look like we have any questions that have come through yet, either on the WebEx or on Facebook. So I will go ahead and ask you guys some questions so that way maybe that'll get some people's ideas flowing of what kind of questions to ask. I always like to get started with this question because I think it's kind of a way to transition into everything. But to get started, and you each can take turns. If you guys just want to go maybe in that same order that you introduced yourself, that might be a good way to do it so we're not trying to talk over each other. But why did you choose Miami Regionals?
I'd say so. I tell people I originally didn't want to go to college, which I didn't. Like I was done with high school. Just want to get out and start working. Um, but I was injured when I wanted to go to firefighter training, and my like backup plan, because it's really important to have a backup plan. I'm finding out was technology. I love technology. I've always loved messing with stuff, gadgets, video games, stuff like that. And then I found out that Miami Regionals had a IT degree, and I've taken like some college credit plus classes there prior to coming to college. And then I went on a tour one night and like fell in love with the admission staff and like what they had to offer. And that definitely played a part. The cheap tuition played a part. And like as the semesters go on, I think the friends I'm making, the friendships and the relationships with staff that I'm building, definitely like makes me want to stay here.
Well, for me, initially, I forgot to say this in my introduction, but I'm from Maryland, so I went to high school in Maryland on the East Coast. Initially, I kind of looked at Miami Regionals as like a stepping ground for me. Not necessarily like a 4-year degree, but like maybe go for maybe 1 or 2 years and then go on to a more traditional university. So my perspective is why I stayed kind of, and I stayed because it has so much to offer in terms of academics, athletics, community, relationship building, kind of like how Aaron spoke on a little bit. I mean, it has all the aspects that you would expect college to have. And it's really giving, because of the smaller campus, it really gives you that at home feeling, that sense of almost everybody you're around. You're building relationships with professors, peers all the time, without even trying almost. So that's what kind of, made me stay at Miami Regionals and really develop a love for being here. Because, I tell a lot of people all the time, it's like Miami Regionals may not be specifically what I asked for coming out of high school, but it does have all the qualities that I wanted in college. So that's what has kept me here for all 4.5 years. So
Well, I chose Miami Regionals because I went to Midstate. It's coordinates with Middletown High School. And one time we had like these schools coming in to introduce their schools and then their degrees. But Miami Regionals was like the best fit because they talk more about my major. Most schools usually only talk about nursing and all that, but they made specific like majors, and I'm an CIT major, so I was looking for a school that could have like a lot of my major and also a school that has like the best environment. When I first started, I made like a lot of friends. People say I'm the most popular person, and I also joined volleyball team, which I loved a lot, and it's close to home, so I just drive in and out. I love it.
Barb, I can comment that you are very popular at Miami. Everybody sees that. And like with Barb, there's just so many people, so many different people that you can get like in contact with and like become friends with, and there's just lovely people. They all have different backgrounds, but they're all unique to the Miami community. And the reason why I'm at Miami is because my high school, Fenwick, or Bishop Fenwick, my guidance counselor had a niece, or has a niece that works at Miami. And so my mom and I talked with her, and she got me going on Miami. And also, my mom, Amy Earl, works at Miami. And so she kept telling me that Miami is such a family experience. Like, there's so many great people to connect with. Um, there's so many opportunities to get involved in things, like with being a Harriers cheerleader, being in the crew club, and even with being a student ambassador. There's so many smiling faces that you just want to say hi to.
Awesome. I always love asking that question because I think the answers you guys give are always so awesome to hear and make me feel good that you all have found really your home here with us at Miami Regional. So hopefully our current students out there, if you're listening in, maybe you can relate. If you've already confirmed with us, you can relate to some of the reasons why our students have chose Miami Regionals too. Or if you're still trying to figure out what might be the right fit for you, I can tell you that you would definitely find your home at Miami Regionals for sure. It looks like we still do not have any questions coming in from anybody else. So lucky you, ambassadors. I'm just going to keep asking you guys some of my questions that I have. I think right now a good one would be with everything going on and for our seniors that are getting ready to graduate, they're finishing up their senior year, a good kind of thought or what they might be thinking about right now is what that transition really is like from high school to college. I know it can definitely be a big one. So for you guys, what do you think was like the biggest difference from high school to college, and like how did you handle that transition from high school to college? So if you guys want to go in the same order again, I think that worked well last time. Aaron?
So like you said the biggest transition, how we handled that.
Yeah, so like what do you think was like the hardest part, or what do you wish you would have known maybe when you were kind of getting out of your senior year, heading into your first year of college?
I
So along
think
those lines.
okay. Yeah. So for me, thankfully I've always been somewhat of like an organized guy. I've been like the guy to always keep a planner, color code stuff because why not? But that's probably the one thing I would have wished because like in college, high school, you do the class every day, you got the same schedule every day. It's really repetitive. College is so much more, free roaming. You get to pick your schedule, you get to have classes, like 1 to 4 days, depends. But something that hit me hard was the amount of personal studying you probably need to do because like once you get those big tests and have papers due, your professors don't like stay up to date on you. Like you need to be doing this. Like you're it's gonna come a week and it's gonna be due the next day, and you're like, oh, well, I forgot that was due. And so just a lot of responsibility, I guess, is added. Um, a lot of self-awareness and just organization. Just keep up on assignments, and that's something that took about probably 1 to 2 semesters to get a hold of. So.
I applaud you, Aaron, for being color coordinated in high school because I promise you, I was the king of procrastination. I'm not proud of it, but I'm here to say it because I think if I was a little bit more organized coming out of high school, I would have been a lot better off going into college. And that's my advice to any high schooler, senior, or regardless of what grade. If you plan on going to college, you should start trying to figure out what works best for you in terms of, organizing, planning your schedule, the balance between schoolwork and work or extracurricular activities, sports clubs, or anything like that. Because it's extremely important. As a high school student, you might know that once you get to college, you might only have 2 or 3 classes a day. But you really don't know what that feels like until you get into those situations where you're finished with class at 1 o'clock and you got the rest of the day to, do who knows what, you know what I mean? So definitely organization. I recommend everyone getting the agenda book for sure. And just kind of just manage your time the best you can so that you are the most productive.
So mine, I would say, was kind of easy. I had like family friends that are professors at different universities, so they kind of like encouraged me and they kind of advised me on what I wanted to do once I chose the school I was going to. So my steps coming into college was not difficult. It was more like an easier path for me because I had someone to direct me on what to do. Yeah.
going along with what Barb said, I transition was hard, but it was easy because I have a mom that works at Miami, so she was able to like guide me on the college path of Miami and show me the routes, and um, Devin Cox and Natalie Carley that kind of pulled me in, and I became their guinea pig. Like they just became like friends, like family to me. And they pulled me in and showed me what to do, taught me what Miami was all about. And then I became close with my math professor. And what I can say is if you have a close connection or close personal bond with like a faculty administrator, then you will be set to go.
That's awesome. Definitely some good advice for sure. So thank you all for sharing your stories and your thoughts and everything. Ellie, appreciate the personal shout out. That was nice. But I definitely can agree with all of you with what you said. I know for me going into college, I was a first generation college student. So I did not have, my parents weren't familiar with the process. Not many people in my family were. So just knowing that you have this support is really important. And I think that's something that really makes the regional stand out even a little bit more than other institutions because we do have that smaller campus and we have the staff and faculty that are really there to help support our students. And that's what we all love. I mean, I know for me as a staff member, I love getting to know our students. I love working with them. I love our ambassadors and being able to build those personal connections. So that definitely can help for sure. Cool. Thank you guys. Let's see. Still no questions. So I'll ask a few more for you guys. And then we'll see if we get any others coming in either through Facebook or through the WebEx. I think another good question will be trying to decide which one I want to do next. How, if you guys could like kind of describe maybe what your schedules look like, I think that's something that sometimes students come in with a different perspective because they're used to going to high school from like 7:30 to 2:30 or whatever it might be. So if you kind of describe like what your schedules look like, I know a lot of you have other jobs or other clubs or sports that you're involved in. So describe that, and then maybe like how you balance your personal life with all of that too. I know that kind of goes hand in hand. So if you guys want to maybe start there, maybe we'll go in reverse order this time. Change it up if Ellie wants to start first, so we'll go backwards.
Go. So last semester, my schedule was really like, it was really balanced, and I felt like I had a lot of free time on my hands to do what I want to do in life. And so my schedule consisted of, I would wake up every day, go to the gym from like 8 to 9, take a shower at the gym, and then from 10 to 12 be at Miami, and then go down to the Miami gymnasium where I work. I have a job for Abby, and so I usually work there after my classes, or I'll go to the barn and take care of my horse, or I'll go back to the gym, or I'll come home and help my mom with her babysitting kids. It just all really depends. But most of my classes are in the mornings. Like I love the morning time frame from 10 to 1. And also you can pick like the classes you're taking a day. So like for next semester, since I already scheduled my classes, I'm taking like 2 or 3 Tuesdays and Thursdays, but then 1 or 2 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So it all just really depends on your student.
Well, my schedule for the fall, which was my first year, was kind of flexible and I had a lot of time to practice volleyball. I had like 4 classes, and one was online, and the rest of them were like from 8 in the morning till 1. So all my classes usually end at 1 p.m., and then I have the rest of the day to do my homework, especially for math. I have to go to the TLC every day. So I usually have that time period to plan what I want to do within the day. And then for the spring, I kind of had like 2 classes were online and then the rest were on campus, but it's still like from 10 to 1. So I haven't had like any class after 1. But then in the fall this time, I'll be having classes till 5, which is like a kind of heavy load, but it's really well planned and I'm ready for it.
For me, my schedule right now it's pretty hectic. I'm taking about 18 credit hours, so I'm in a home stretch trying to graduate, so it's a little different than the incoming freshman. However, um, coming in, my schedule is like 12 credit hours. That's full time. I'm a morning person, so I do like to have my classes early. So my earliest class like 8:30 or something like that as a freshman. And I'm finished with my day around like 1:30. So a lot of free time. I mean, I do have practice in the late afternoon, but that's kind of how my schedule go. Mondays and Mondays and Wednesday classes correlate, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays classes correlate. I usually never have classes on Fridays, which is pretty cool because get to start my weekend early. Um, but yeah, that's about it for my classes. Then I just squeeze in like food and little other group activities in between there.
For me, since my major is IT, it's mostly online. Um, and like everyone here, like it's gonna fluctuate. Like I went from taking 15 to 18 to 12. I'm back at 15 credit hours. But like right now, I think I have a class at 10 a.m. and then Wednesday 10 a.m. and like 3 p.m. and then the other three are online. So it's nice. It gives you a lot of free time, to work around that, and especially if you want to have a job. I only have two jobs. I work here in the ambassador's office, and I have a IT job off campus for a company. I work that part time throughout the week. Um, then yeah, I the crew Bible studies once a week at 7 p.m. Other than that, just doing homework and working out when I can. Time with family, especially right now. It's a bit of a change in the schedule, but we're all adjusting to that. So yeah, it'll fluctuate.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for each sharing your own perspectives on that. I know it was a lot different from high school. I think that was one of the biggest shocks to me was time management and having to try to figure out like, okay, I'm only in class from 10 to 1. What do I do with the rest of my day? And like Aaron was saying, if you have a job, it makes it nice because then you can get a few more hours working. But also you have to remember you're always a student first, so definitely making sure you still get your work done, figuring out all that time management skill and everything like that, which I definitely think is a big adjustment from high school. But thank you guys for sharing all of that. We still don't have any questions that have come in, so I will ask maybe one or two more, and if we'll see if anybody else has any, and if not, then we'll wrap it up. But now that all of you, I know for our freshmen, you now have almost an entire year under your belt, so you guys can probably answer this question now. What has been your favorite class that you have taken so far at Miami Regionals, and why? We'll go ahead and do the reverse order again. We'll have Ellie start again.
So my favorite class that I've taken so far has been my first semester math 049, and that's because of the professor. I have a close personal relationship with Brad Eggleston. We connected through that class, and he was able to help me see the light and help me to appreciate math more because all along, like even before high school and just my mindset is not with math. Math used to be my worst enemy. But before I met Brad, math has become not my favorite, but it's getting there.
Well, my favorite class would be 025, breakout to calculus. No, algebra to breakout. And I'll say it's my favorite class because it's this math class that I love a lot. Like, I don't know why I love it, but like, I was able to get help for the things I needed. And then I also got the chance to teach it. If once I'm done with pre-calc, I can be able to like tutor that class. And I also got, for that class, I was able to meet a lot of professors who had different ideas on how they teach it. And so, of all the classes I've taken, I feel like that is the best class, and I would want to take it again.
For me, this is a tough one. I've taken a lot of classes so far. But I would have to say last school year, second semester, one of my communication classes taught by our department head, Dr. Leland Spencer. Um, was probably the best class I've had so far. Um, Being a senior now, really getting into your major classes, I really just found a love for what I'm doing. And we got to talk about interesting topics about communication with body language and talking about how communication affects family dynamics and how, the way you and I communicate has a lot to do with how our ancestors communicated or even goes back to our grandparents, great grandparents. So it just gets real intricate. I was real interested by it, and it's definitely something I'm just liking through so far throughout school.
I think for me, um, I think I had one of the coolest experiences I'll ever have last. It was this winter. It's technically a class, but it was a study abroad class. And I got the opportunity to go to Manchester, United Kingdom, for about over 2 weeks. And like that's something that like a lot of departments offer in their majors. So like I got to work with a nonprofit over in Europe and like got to work with the homeless and build like a survey for them to take. So yeah, I mean that's something cool that the IT department offered that I got to be a part of. So that's probably the coolest class I've taken.
Awesome. Super cool. I always like to hear what your guys' different perspectives are at the classes you take because each of you are different majors. And so I always like to hear about the classes. Sometimes I want to take some of the classes that you guys say. But cool. I think that is a good question to end on. I thank anyone who joined in to watch us today. I know we didn't get any questions asked, but thanks for joining in and listening to our current students chat about how great Miami Regionals is and hopefully even though you didn't ask the questions, hopefully maybe you got some of your questions answered that you're thinking of. Shout out to our 4 wonderful ambassadors. You guys are amazing. I miss seeing your guys' faces in person, but it's good to see you at least over video chat. But thank you for joining us today. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you.
Let me see.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Great job, guys. We're offline.
Shout out to our 4 wonderful ambassadors.
Sorry, I might have the volume on. There we are. Okay.